It's 2020, guys. It's time to organize your life. How about starting with getting rid of that small suitcase you keep in your back pocket that you call a wallet? You don't need those receipts and some library card. Guys, the Ridge wallet, this thing is different. It's sleek. It's industrial. It fits into your front pocket. It's going to change your wallet game. Ridge wallets hold up to 12 cards, all the cash that you're going to need, and you can choose from over 30 colors and styles, including carbon fiber or burnt titanium. It is the best wallet you can buy. And you don't have to take my word for it because they got 30,000 five-star reviews. And I will tell you, if you're skeptical at all, there's no pressure. Test it out for 45 days. If you don't love it, send it back for a full refund for any reason. If you decide to keep it, there's a lifetime warranty. Click in the link in the description. You're going to get 10% off with free worldwide shipping and returns. Go to ridgewallet.com/Chael. That's ridgewallet.com/Chael and use the promo code Chael. Over the weekend, Dana got asked a question at a press conference. It had to do specifically with Showtime Pettis' call out of Anderson Silva. And Dana said, no, I'm light on that one, not happening. And he followed it up and said, I don't know what to do with Anderson. Now, let me attempt to expand on that thought because that's a real tricky booking, okay? Here you have the greatest of all time for a division. No question for middleweight. You got the greatest of all time, argued by many to just be the greatest of all time. Who's 44 years old, who has put an expiration date on himself of 2 fights left. Anytime those happen, any way you want to do it, 2 more walks, right into the sunset. So you don't have a contender. Not because he's not still very good. You don't have a contender because he's letting you know, I'm not here to contend. I'm not here to knock off this guy or that guy or anybody else. I got 2 left. Okay, now for me, now you have some fun. I love it. These are not pieces that you're usually dealt. That's just not what we're doing over here. We're finding champions and contenders, but every now and then you're not. Every now and then there's just something else there. And it's special. And it needs to be used correctly. You also have to understand you got a very high dollar guy. So placement on a card, you got a lot of moving parts before you go book the Spider. When I'm looking at that, if I was in charge of the booking, now, look, I happen to like the Conor fight. I happen to understand you got a 44-year-old guy versus a 30-year-old guy, but I think that the weight discrepancy made it very interesting. I thought the fact that they were going to do it at a weight that doesn't even exist, they're going to do a catch weight that they agree on, get on the scale and go do it. I thought that leveled the playing field and made it interesting. That's for me, but I think I'm right. I think you guys would agree with me. Does it make it interesting enough to actually go ahead and do it? Well, you're having a little bit of a different conversation. So let's operate with what could you do realistically? If you have a guy who is a high dollar guy, who's in high demand, but is telling you openly, I am not a contender. Doesn't mean skill-wise I can't still contend. It means I got 2 left. So if you're trying to play chess, forget it. We're playing checkers now. One move. Goodbye. Well, there's still an answer. And I got 2 names I'm going to throw at you. I'm starting with Diaz. Now, I'm not narrowing that down to Nick or Nate. Nick Diaz versus Anderson works. We know it works because we've seen it once. It was a very fun fight. It was a fight I'm not sure that Nick won a round. A judge may have given him a round. He declared he won all 5. It was great. Anderson then ends up in the principal's office. Diaz has an argument to want to get back in there and get that one back, but Nick Diaz also has shown that he can go up to 185. You're also now not talking about a contenders match. You're talking about having some fun. What the hell's wrong with that? We don't get to have it a whole lot. It's high stakes at all times. Why can't we have a little fun every now and then? So I'm going to throw Nick in there, but what have we also seen about the Diazes? Doesn't really matter which one it is. Right? We've seen that. Doesn't really matter which one it is. This argument started way back, Nate versus Conor. Conor gets over on Nate. Nick was about to step to the plate. This same argument happened as soon as Nate and Masvidal got done, and all of a sudden you're going to have to deal with Big Brother Nick. I'm just suggesting for you whether we got to see those matches or not. We all got excited about it. So I'm going to say Nick already fought him. see Nick again, or pull Nick out, put him in the corner, put Nate in against Anderson Silva. I think that solves your problem of having a whole bunch of fun. Nick has proven he could go to 185. I'm here to let you know Nate will bump up to 185 himself, so I'm just going to call it Diaz. Here's one that might surprise you. Robbie Lawler. Lawler might surprise you because it's at 170 pounds. Go back and check his career. He's done plenty of work at 185. What is Lawler up to, and why is Lawler not booked? How is Lawler training? Who's he training with? Is Lawler training? I suspect yes to every question I just asked, but I don't know, man. He's been a little bit quiet. By Robbie Lawler's standards, he's been quiet. And not to mention, these guys are from the same era. So many people don't know that because Robbie's such a young guy. Robbie started at 19. He started at an oddly young age. Anderson started at a normal age. But they both date themselves back to the same year. The fact that these guys' paths have never crossed is actually a little bit surprising. Where you look at where it's going to affect the rankings, you understand it's not. But that's what we're looking for right now. We don't need the rankings disrupted. We don't need Anderson Silva to come in and knock off a number 3 or 4 guy. We don't need to see a number 1 or 2 guy go take on a guy that's on his way out that's done some work around. We just don't need that. It's not what this is. This is something unique. This is something different. This is something special, in all fairness. Then if you were to look at the actual matchup itself of 2 stand-up brawlers, 2 stand-up fighters. I don't think Anderson would go down as a brawler. He would go as a technician. But I'll tell you, one guy's coming to brawl. That's a fun fight. I would love to hear your suggestions. And I wouldn't argue for you that you couldn't come up with something better. This would solve the problem, though. And if you are going to confront me with a suggestion, just make sure that it makes some sense. Look, one that's been going around, guys, is Weidman. Put him in there with Weidman. Guys, I understand how that would match a lot of my criteria. A lot of my criteria that maybe doesn't affect the rankings and it's one say la vie, but they already fought. Those weren't overly competitive matches. I get where there would be some nostalgia and something fun about that. There would be something on the line. But in all fairness, they've already fought. They already fought twice. I feel as though that one's done. And I only offer you that as a pushback because that's the one that so many people come with. I think you're going to have to come with something different. And you're going to have to operate within the confines that this isn't the normal contest. I have heard people say George Masvidal. I've heard that. I don't really push back against that. But you already have one very expensive guy. Now with Masvidal, you have not only a contender, you have a champion. He's a champion. That drives some of you crazy. He's a champion. That's not really what we're looking for Anderson right now. Let's have some fun. My argument to you, let's narrow it down to 2. I'll go first. Diaz. Be either one of them. Diaz, Lawler. Those are my 2.